What's up, guys? I'm going to give you guys just a real quick kind of rundown and tutorial on how to create a song with the song template that I've provided for the Weekend and Elevate template sets. This is for doing anything inside of the arrangement view. So first things first, you're going to find wherever you have your song templates file. I have mine organized like this over just a couple of years. This is just kind of what I've determined that I like the most, because it's quick and easy to get to. But under the templates folder, I then have my song template project, and then I will open the song template file. That will open it exactly how it will open for a Weekend. So this makes dragging it in easy. What I do is I go up here and I go ahead and right off the bat, I save the song as a new song. So I know in this case that I am planning on making a new song entirely. That I actually will save. I like to save it within this Ableton tracks folder where all my other songs are saved. Here's the naming template. Always name it the name of the song with a space and a dash, then the key of the song. I know that this song is in A. And then if you don't, just real fast as an example, I have multitracks pulled up. It will always give you the original key. I will always download the multitracks in the original key because I do not like downloading them in any key other than the original key, because Ableton will actually transpose it better than most of the time when they transpose it. So next I'll need to know my BPM, 74.5, and then just knowing the time signature is good for when you're making the song. So I actually forgot the BPM, 74.5 BPM. And I name it like this so that any time that I'm looking over here on the side and I'm pulling in a song, I know what key it's in. So if I need to transpose it, because I'm looking on Planning Center, and I know what BPM it's in, so that way I can immediately go ahead and type it into the tempo button, which I will show you here in just 1 second. But I'm naming this, putting it inside of this folder, and what you'll see is it just made this project. The first thing I do, and I'm not kidding, this is my pet peeve, I need you to get rid of the word project. It will clutter up your view over here, and if every single one of these said project, it makes determining what's what way more difficult, because the word project just draws your eye and all that. So anyway, I go ahead and open that. So now when you come up here and you look, it's actually, you're on the faithfulness template, because if you were to accidentally write over the song template, you could cause some issues. So that brings up another point, that I would always save like some sort of backup. I don't have it currently because I've gotten good and haven't been doing that lately, but I actually need to do this. But make a backup folder in here where you have this duplicated, so that if you accidentally do that, you can always just replace the written over version with the duplicated version, so that you start back from where you were. I've done it a few times and it's not fun, because then you have to go and delete everything and a bunch of markers, and anyway, it's a pain in the butt. So what I do next is I will bring in the actual files for the song. In this case, they're in my downloads folder, and I always have my downloads folder set up on my places so that I can do this, because what a lot of people do is they'll take the multitracks like this and they'll just drag them in, and I'll just do it for sake of showing you. Actually, no, I won't. But if you drag them in, it's going to name them audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. You're going to have to rename them. If you bring it in within the track like this, so like this is the actual session file that they've made, that they provide. If I drag this file in, it's actually going to bring them in exactly like this, which is really convenient because they're color coded if you want to keep them that way, and they're also already labeled for me. They have a click track. I actually just get rid of that file altogether because I don't like the sound of their clicks, and I don't like dealing with having 2 clicks going at once. The guide, I'll go ahead and right off the bat move it up to the guide channel and get rid of their guide. So now if I open it, I can see that their guide is there. All the file is there, but it is on my guide channel that I've already created. So with that, what I'll do next is I'll highlight the whole section of everything, just like that, and then press Command G and name it the song. When you bring this into a Weekend or a Elevate set, this will make it more organized so that you always know what song you just imported and what's what. I also go ahead and change the color of that to be just a consistent color, so that no matter what, it's easy to see. It's not too bright on your eyes. So let's just get started with the actual working on it. Since this is a new song, this is going to be a new song for me. I have not done this one before, so in terms of getting it ready, so I don't know what the intro of this sounds like. I don't know anything, so we're about to find out. So right off the bat, I can see that there's a 1 2 1 2 3 4. My number one pet peeve in all of this is people bringing up songs that are in an Ableton set with 1 2 1 2 3 4. The reason is because your transition automatically becomes horrible. Unless the song has a lead-in vocally where the vocals need to hear the 1 2 for a timing reference, like the song Look to the Sun, for instance. Unless that is the case, I can't stand having it. So the first thing I do right off the bat, you'll hear this.
2 1 2 3 4.
So the first thing that I do is I get rid of that. Then, other really important thing, double click on your tempo track, change it to the BPM of the song. So in this case, I know it's 74.5. And then remember, you have to click this master button, then slave, and it will sync these up to be perfectly on time with your set. So now, you just have 1 2 3 4.
1 2 3 4.
Great. So with that, I go ahead and do that. The next step that I'll do, you don't have to do it in this order, but always before you start changing any keys or anything else, highlight all of your tracks, shift tab over to where you can see this section, click the warp button, and then make sure it's on complex. So now, if you change your key of anything, it will continue to play the same tempo, but change the keys. If you don't do that, and then you get into a weekend set, it gets really frustrating really fast because now you have to essentially take that song entirely out of there, come back to this template, change it, and then re-import it back into your set. Otherwise, you're going to mess up the entire set for the weekend. It is a pain in the butt. So just my fair warning to you, make sure to go ahead and turn on warping now. And make sure that warping is set to the BPM of the song. Next, I'll go ahead and put in a click track. So in this case, because it's in 4/4, I have a 4/4 loop, just like that, that I like to use. In this case, because it's in 74.5 BPM, I know I'm going to need an 8th note click. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this click in, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Here we go.
1 2 3.
We want the tempo to feel like that, right? So you want it to be on 8th notes. So what I'm going to do is, because if you listen to this, the accent is only on that first note. I want it to be on every, like as if you were counting. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm sorry, like this.
One, 2 3 4.
You know what? I'm going to leave it exactly like this, where the tempo or the accent is just on the first ones. And the reason is because for this particular song, it just makes more sense. So what I'm going to do, make sure that's on loop, make sure it's set on beat right here. Anytime you're working with a click, I like to do beats because it'll make it not have like a weird jittery sound. And I'm going to drag it out for the duration of the song. So I'll just drag the to where that last note has no click. So now we've got a click taken care of.
1 2 3 4.
So now we got a click, we got tempo going, we have the guide on the proper channel, we have everything grouped. What I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and take out anything that we're not using in the song that I can just, off the top of my head, I know for a fact we will not need that in the track. too many synth parts to cover. So there's that. So now what I can be doing is I can be saving all the way throughout. I don't know if you noticed, but my little cursor will change every now and then when I made a change. You'll see it right there, change. I've been doing that all the way throughout. Always save as you're going. At this point, it's a lot of times a good idea to go ahead and do your save, collect all and save command, so that then everything that you've imported so far will be brought into the actual file of that song itself. So like when you import it into a session and then you take it to somewhere, like say you take this song somewhere or something, or you delete the original multi-track files or whatever, you'll have the files saved in another place on your computer, which is right there alongside that project, so it always has something to read. So from here, the tedious thing is just I create markers for every single section of the song, so that our keys players can easily see where it is in the song. If we're asking them, hey, let's go back to the first verse or something like that, they can always go to it. So this I know is a count in, and I'm going to do this for the rest of the song.
Verse.
I create these splits. I open up the markers channel and then press Command E, and you'll notice it makes a split up here. So now I can name this something different. So I know that's the verse, and this one was the intro. So then I'm just going to do this for the rest of the song. And I also know that when I see these, the next cuts can be right here, right? So you can always go through and know that just because it's 4 counts after it says it.
Chorus. Interlude. Verse. Chorus. Instrumental. Bridge. 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 Chorus. Chorus. Tag. Tag. Ending.
Great, so that's done. Then the last thing, really, that I'm going to do for a crash out, just in case we want to go a little bit longer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the way down, pull out, and then I'm going to cut. Oh, and you know what I did not do that you need to also be aware of? First off, go ahead and pull the tempo track back to the end of the actual song and the ending, this marker track. But what I didn't do, that just gave me trouble right there, was I did not warp the guide track. Make sure and warp the guide track too, because then when you start making cuts, it's going to start giving you really funky results that you don't know why. I don't know, I can't explain, but it'll do it. Just go to the end of this, drag them all out. Drag it all over, and then get rid of. So now, when you play it out, it'll only go that long. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight up to the ending, Command Option F, and then individually fade all of those. You can't fade them all at once. You have to do them individually, but it fades nice and pretty for the next song to start. So like you can, you know, count into the next song out of that or whatever it is you end up wanting to do. So I'll just fold every single thing up, zoom out, and save it. And then I'm going to do one more collect all and save just to confirm that nothing's changed, nothing needs to be imported or whatever, and we're good. So that song is now actually ready to go. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty and all the stuff that goes into making each individual song. Then that song is now ready to be dragged into a session. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you guys have any questions. See you guys.